Hi and welcome to Quiltmas Day 20. I'm glad you're here. Today is day 1 of Ask Me Anything responses. As always, my countdown box opening and honest reaction are at the end. You gotta hang around to find out what's in store today. But let's get on with the show. Casey is here with me off camera and he's going to read your questions. But before we start that, I'll answer the most popular question with a little story. By far, the question I got the most was about my hair. Do I dye it myself? What prompted me to dye it? What dye do I use? When did I start? About 12 years ago, a friend of mine was getting married for the 4th time. And I had to go to another wedding. I asked Casey, do we really have to go? He said, yes, we really have to go. I said, okay, well, if we have to go to wedding number 4, I'm going with purple hair. So I did. And then I found someone in Atlanta who dyed it just exactly the way I want it. And someone who cut it exactly how I want it. And I went to them, and I still go to them. Here we are 12 years later. Every time I'm back home in Atlanta, I call my hairdresser. Guys, I'm a picky bee about my hair, okay? I call my hairdresser, my colorist, and my stylist, and I say, when are you available? We're coming in these dates, approximately, and I book my hair appointment before I book my flight. Because I can't find anybody who will do it the way I like it here in Austin. I mean, granted, I've only tried 2 people, but they messed it up, and now I'm traumatized. In between, I keep it up to date-ish with color depositing conditioner. I'll link it below in case you're interested. They have lots of colors. But my hair has been some version of purple highlighted. It's been some version of purple highlighted for about 12 years. Every time I think, oh, it's a lot of hassle and I don't want to do it, Casey talks me out of it and says, no, you love your hair being purple. Just do it. It's worth the time. It's worth the expense. You love it. And he's right. He's always right. But, don't tell him that. So that's the story of my purple hair. Someone else does it because my hair is naturally fairly dark and I will not bleach it at home on my own. I'll over dye it, but I won't bleach it, and they have to lift the color. It takes forever, y'all. It takes like 4 hours to finish. It's crazy. But that's the story of purple hair. The second most popular question that I got is about my lipstick. I wear red lipstick almost exclusively. All versions of red, but my favorite right now is this one. Can we get, there we go. Guys, it's super bougie. It's a Gucci lipstick. It's called Gucci Lip Voile in Goldie Red. It's stupid expensive, but I wear it every day. It's a splurge. I don't splurge on a lot of things makeup-wise, but this I do. Okay, Casey, take it away.
Jean or Jeannie Hoffman asks, are you always as cheerful as you are on your lives? Would you be a fun friend?
Oh, yes, I'm a fun friend, Tiffany. I'm a fun friend. Am I always as cheerful as I am on my lives or on someone else's live or in the video? No, absolutely not. Are any of us? I mean, no, I'm not, but I think I am a fun friend.
Imogene Thomas asks, where are you from originally? How many children do you have?
I'm originally from Marietta, Georgia, home of the Big Chicken. That's a northwest suburb of Atlanta. And we have 2 kids. They're grown adults now, but they're college age and they still live at home.
And Robin Brown asked that same question, actually, about the children. Mm-hmm. Connie Lawrence asks, do you have a background in art or design?
Do I have a background in art or design? Sort of. I took a few college courses while I was still, finding myself. But mostly it's just a lot of intense personal study. I love it so much. I love color and design. And as far as design goes, I mentioned I'm the daughter of an engineer, so math and design are part of like my core being. And a lot of it just feels like it comes naturally, but I think it's just a matter of how I grew up. It's a matter of what I was surrounded by and what I was exposed to.
Karen Wyman asks, I am wondering why you ordered the Missouri Star Quilt Company Christmas box when you find almost everything useless.
Well, now, Karen, that is a good question. And I've sort of answered it before. I ordered the box back in April before I ever had a channel. I got swept up. I watched the live stream of Jenny telling about the box and how they had taken the advice of customers and really changed it up this year, and it was going to be different, and it was really quilting focused, and they were super excited about it, and they were excited about it, so I got excited about it, and the timing and the budget aligned, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. So I ordered it, and then I started my channel, and I thought, oh, well, that will be fun to do in December. And it's not any different, really, than the boxes of previous years, where I've watched the box openings and gone, oh, no, I don't really want that. I'm glad I dodged a bullet there, even though I expected it to be different. So, but I mean, the boxes are an adventure. The boxes are kind of a crapshoot. You get what you get, and sometimes you like it, and sometimes you don't, and that's part of it. That's part of the experience. It was a chance I took, and, it was an expensive chance, but it was kind of fun.
Francis Rivera asks, you mentioned chronic pain. Where are you primarily affected, and how do you work through it?
Oh, chronic pain. I have severe osteoarthritis.
Osteoarthritis.
I got it. Thanks. I have severe osteoarthritis in my left hip. It's from, I had hip dysplasia as an infant, and they fixed it, except, they fixed it a lot of years ago. And I've been walking on it in a damaged position my entire life, which I didn't know until about 5 years ago. So now I know, and hip replacement is on the horizon, but I'm doing several months of prehab to get the hip in condition to be replaced. How do I deal with it? Patience. A lot of patience, not as much as I need, but as much as I can muster. A lot of patience with myself and re-examining what I'm actually capable of, because in my mind I can do all of these things, and then my body says, no, you really can't. So reconciling that is difficult. I generally have handwork to work on when I can't be at the machine or at the cutting table. I have this AccuQuilt Go Big electric cutting system, which helps me tremendously, and I'll talk about that in a video sometime in January. But I have a lot of tools that help. I use a timer a lot because it will cause me to get up and change position, allowing me to move and not get in a stuck, pain intensifying position. Patience. And it doesn't always work. Oh.
Mary Gersatich asks, many quilt book authors insist that fabric from actual quilt stores is superior to fabric from other sources, and that you should only use quilt store fabric when making quilts. Do you agree or disagree? What is your experience with fabric from various sources?
Oh, this is a good question. I love this one. Well, they're not wrong, and they're wrong. Is the fabric at the quilt shop a higher quality than fabric from a big box store or fabric from, possible other sources? Probably. Almost usually. But not always. Should you use exclusively quilt shop fabric? No, I don't think so. I think you should quilt with whatever you want. Mostly, I think you should quilt with whatever is available to you, what you can afford, and frankly, just what you like. I quilt with scrap fabric, with clothing, with linen, with polyester. I know, heavens to Betsy. But I'll quilt, I'll sew with just about anything. It's not, in the end, it's about what you want and about what you care about. If you're making a quilt for a toddler that's going to be blanket forts, do you want to invest $200 or $300 in it? Maybe not. Do you have $200 or $300 to invest in it? Maybe not. And that's okay. You just make the quilt that you want to make. And my philosophy is, if it wears out, I'll make another one. I'm not precious about a lot of things. I look at the quilts that I grew up with. They didn't have quilt shops. They just were sewing with what they had. It was clothing scraps. It was, flour sacks. You look at the quilts from Gee's Bend, the ones that are hanging in museums right now. They're made from everyday things. You make the quilt that you want to make with the materials that you want to use, and it's great. That's all there is to it.
Lisa asks, what do you make with small leftover bits of fabric? Is there an anything goes pattern you use where you use up all your scraps and not have to worry too much about color coordination? Because I don't want to have to sort through the small bits.
I feel ya. Yes, there is. Oh, hang on just a second. Is it down here? My 2-inch squares? Lisa, honey, these are my 2-inch squares. I have 2 of them. And nowhere to put it. I have 2 of these packed full. Sometimes I make checkerboards with lights and darks. Sometimes I just cram them all up against one another. And here's the thing. When the pieces come out a 1.5-inch square finished, and you've got thousands of them in your quilt, it just looks like confetti. And it's kind of amazing. That's my go-to for not sorting. Some things I sort. The 2-inch squares are one of the rare things I don't sort. But yeah, I don't work. I am keeping 1.5-inch squares for another project right now. But in general, I don't work smaller than a 2-inch square. If it's smaller than that, I put it in a basket and send it to my friend Dawn.
Lori Lintz asks, I work at a local quilt shop and I think it would be fun to have a chat introducing quilters to the world of YouTube quilty groups. I'm always amazed at how many quilters have no idea this world is even out there. Would you be interested in setting up a chat at a quilt shop in Austin?
Yes, Laura Lynn, email me. My email's in the description box below. I think it's a great idea. You're right. A lot of people don't even know that this resource is available. So yeah, just drop me a line. We'll work it out.
The Clothes Rinse WS asks, what is the best way to build a quilt fabric stash without buying for any specific project? What is your favorite cut size to buy that you don't have to plan?
This is a great question, and I'm going to do a video on it that will go up on the 27th this month. But the short answer is, for years, I only bought fat quarters. In fact, I still, if I'm buying fabric, I buy fat quarters. I don't tend to buy yardage because that's boring. I don't like to go in and spend $45 to $60 on 3 yards of the same thing. I like to buy a lot of different things, and fat quarters are my go-to.
Anna asks, is it possible to have a video on quilting gadgets? I see items to use for quilting, but I don't know what they are, how to use them, or if it's worth having.
Yeah, I don't know.
You do know.
I do know it's possible to have a video on gadgets, but I'm not your girl. I am not a gadget person. I like a really basic tool. Same thing in the kitchen. You know, I went to a Pampered Chef party one time years and years ago, and they're like, oh, and you need this and that. I'm like, I got a knife, I'm good. They're like, and this will do. And I'm like, I got a knife, I'm good. I'm not a gadget girl, so I probably couldn't help you on that front, but I'm sure there are many, many channels that show all the new nifty quilty gadgets. I know, you know what, Becca from So Becca loves a gadget. She loves a gadget. So she may be your girl. She may be your go-to girl on that, but I don't think it's going to be me. I'm happy to share or answer questions about anything I do have, but you know, I've got a ruler and a rotary cutter.
And a stripology ruler.
Oh, and a stripology ruler. That I can tell you about. But I've already told you about that.
VCU Chica asks, you mentioned you knit and spin. Do you have plans to show off those makes ever on the channel? What wheel/spindle do you have?
I do knit and spin and weave and crochet and a lot of things. When I finish things in that arena, I'll absolutely share them in my Sunday updates and things like that. Right now, I have a Hanson mini spinner, which is an electric spinning wheel, which is fantastic because it's teeny. My favorite spindle is one from Spanish Peacock. It's rim weighted and the balance is just perfect. I don't have it here to show you, but I've gone through many a spinning wheel in my day. From a Louette. Casey's making an ugly hand gesture at me. From a Louette S10, which is my all-time very favorite spinning wheel. I've had 2 of those. I had a Kiwi. I had an Ashford Traditional. I had a, is it Majacraft? Tiffany is the one you've got. Is that Majacraft? I can't remember. It seems like there were more. A Landrum. I had a Landrum. Yeah, it's been an adventure. But right now, all I have is the Hanson mini spinner. And Casey likes that because he doesn't trip over it in the middle of the floor. Plus, it's a gadget. He likes gadgets.
Margaret McCoy asks, who are some of your favorite fabric designers and why?
Favorite fabric designers? Anna Maria Horner. She's my all-time favorite. I like her color sense. Her colors are vibrant and bright and incongruous with one another sometimes, which I like, but they're also just off the pure hue. I don't know if that makes sense. They're not lemon yellow, it's a mustard yellow, you know, so they're just a little bit different and they've got a little more depth and a little more character, plus her artwork, her drawing, it's just beautiful. So Anna Maria Horner is my favorite, and anything with a polka dot. Someone else asks if polka dot is my signature print, and yes, yeah, I love a polka dot. I blame growing up as a child in the 70s and wearing so much dotted Swiss, but I love a polka dot.
Julie Chow asks, do you ever get to the end of a major project and feel like it's burning you out? Which makes it feel even that much harder to complete?
Every single day. Yes, I do. And it doesn't have to be a big project. Right now, the UFO showdown, the getting all those quilts finished, it's kicking my backside, and I'm just tired of it. It's like I did the fun part and now I'm done. It's a slog, guys. But yes, what do I do to get re-inspired? Sometimes I just set a deadline and I ask you guys for help, and then I get to make the 4 kids' quilts. Other than that, I don't know, accountability partners and scheduling. Sometimes you just gotta finish it. Sometimes you just gotta put it in the closet and let it wait for its time to come. That's okay too. That's an idea.
Teresa Robinson asks, were you tech savvy before doing YouTube, or did you learn as you go?
Was I tech savvy about YouTube, or was I tech savvy in general? In general, yes. Casey is a computer architect, so I'm tech savvy adjacent, whether I like it or not. But did I know anything about YouTube or editing or lighting or... No, didn't know anything. Have a really good mentor in my friend Hannah. She gave me some tips and said, said, you're smart enough, you'll figure it out, and I hope I'm doing all right. Up next is the box opening, and I'll be right back to see us out.
You have to hold it up and say day 20.
Oh. I'm opening the box, guys. I didn't even tell you what it was. I'm just opening the box. Oh. Quilty Advent Calendar Day 20. This is crystal pincushion. There ain't no way that this one over here is going to let me keep this. Crystal pincushion. Project pattern for 5-inch squares. Oh, it's a pattern in this teeny tiny little booklet. Okay, that's adorable. And it's a little crystal dish, and there's embroidery floss, ooh, and a bead, which I presume the instructions are for. I'm going to put this back in here. All the instructions for that, yes, are right here, and the project supplies are on the back. Very cute. There's no way I'm getting to keep that one.
Nope.
This one's gonna thieve it. But that's okay. That's what it's for. It's fun. That was
Day 20.
day 20. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me on day 20 of Quiltmas. I'm having a good time answering your questions. There's some really good ones in there. Stay tuned for tomorrow's conclusion. And I'm craving cookies, guys. My tummy's growling and I'm hungry. I want to know in the comments what your favorite Christmas cookie is. It's that time of year when we all get to indulge just a little. While you're down there, click all the buttons, like, subscribe, share, ring that bell so you don't miss anything. And don't forget that you make the world more beautiful just by being in it. I'm Amy, and I'll see you next time.